Hey everybody, welcome back to Funny Bug Bees and Woodworks. This is a preview of the project I'm going to show you guys how to make today. Super simple mason jar feeder, easy materials, easy tools, and look, the bees love it. You can't go wrong with these things. They're a great thing to put away from your hives so the bees learn to come somewhere else to get sugar syrup instead of robbing each other out. Stick around, hope you enjoy the project. Hey everybody, Cliff here with Funny Bug Bees and Woodworks. Thanks for stopping back by. As promised, we've got a project today for you on how to build mason jar feeders for your beehives. Stick with us. As always, I've got links to all the tools I'm going to use today down in the description. Don't forget though, I'm required to tell you this, that these are links from an Amazon associate account, so if you do order your tools through these links, I will make a few pennies. Everything helps, really appreciate it. Here we go. Really quickly as well, don't forget to visit Funny Bug Bees and Woodworks. We've got all your beekeeping supplies you guys might need there. Everything we build on our channel and teach you guys how to build, we sell on our website. So if you don't have the technical skills or you don't have the tools necessary to make some of these products, you can always order them directly from us and save some money and time. All right, let's get on to the project. All right, so the first thing you guys are going to need is a hole saw. You can get these at most big box stores, or there's a link in the product description or in the video description below. The bit itself is sold separately from the auger, which is this piece. I believe you can get both for about probably $29, I think. Don't quote me on that. It's been a while since I bought one, but this is a 3/8 inch auger. And this is what you'll need to fit into your drill, and this will fit corded or cordless drills as well as a drill press. So that's the one that I use. It does come in a 1/2 inch version as well. This is a spider hole saw attachment for this auger. This is a 2 3/4 inch hole saw, which is what you're going to need. The reason that I like these particular hole saws so much, and other brands may do this, but they're interchangeable. You don't have to use an auger with the same bit all the time. There's actually a quick release button on these right here that allows you to lock the bit onto the auger. So you can buy a whole set of these bits and just an auger. You don't have to buy that piece separately each time. So that's one really cool feature that I like. And the whole auger attachment actually unscrews from the cutting bit. Alright, so as far as materials go, you're going to need a piece of 4x4 treated lumber. Not a piece this size, this is just an example, 4x4 lumber. The project that we made that you saw photos of at the beginning of the video was an 8-foot 4x4 post treated. We dug a 24-inch hole in the ground and used a bag of concrete to put that in the ground so that it becomes a permanent fixture. You don't have to concrete it in the ground if you want to dig a hole and pack it in real good. It depends on your soil type, I guess. But you're going to need a 4x4 post. And you're going to need a piece of this, which is called premium decking. It is about 1 inch thick, probably closer to 7/8. Doesn't need to be this thick. You just want something strong enough it's not going to droop with your mason jars on it. And this can be any length you want. I've made them, 6 feet long, 3 foot on either side of the 4x4 post, and they hold up fine, especially if you add a cross brace between the 4x4 post and this to hold it up. So something like that attached to the 4x4 post and the underside of this. But this is what we're actually going to cut the holes in for the mason jars and what I use. You can use anything you like though. You can even use plywood as long as you cut some hardwood pieces to put around it as a frame so that it doesn't droop. And you could probably get a lot more of them in a single feeder location that way as well. But we'll go ahead and show you how we get this cut, so stay with us. Alright, for me personally, I like these to be about 18 inches on either side of the 4x4 post. That allows me to put a mason jar centered every 6 inches on both ends, and then a 4-inch section in the middle. So 18 plus 4 is 22, plus another 18, 32, 40. So you're going to need a 40-inch piece, if you do it like me, a 40-inch piece of this premium decking. Alright guys, so basically we're going to take and measure from one end of the premium decking, 40 inches, scribe us a line. That's going to be where we cut it. So we'll go ahead and get this cut now on the line we scribed using a skill saw, crosscut, miter saw, or a table saw if you've got one with enough feed. I'm going to do this on a miter saw, so I'm just going to cut that line right there with a miter saw, 40 inches. Okay guys, after you get this cut 40 inches long, this particular product, final dimensions, the way you get it in the store, is 5.5 inches. It's probably going to be called by 6 in the store. That's a nominal, but anyway, actual's 5.5 inches. So what we want to do so that we can mark out our lines for where to make our holes with the hole saw is to take half of that. So half of 5.5 is 2 3/4. So we're going to take and mark a line 2 3/4. We're going to turn our board around 2 3/4 on the other side as well. And then all we have to do is take our straight edge and make a line from here to the mark at the other end that we made. And that gives us our center line for our holes. So that's what I'm going to do right now. This is not super fancy furniture grade stuff, so just quick and dirty. All the way to the other end. There we go. So what we have now is a line that's exactly centered on this board. Now what we have to do is find the center of the board long ways. We cut it at 40 inches, so 20 inches should be our center. So take and mark out 20 inches with your pencil. Okay, 20 inches. That's going to be the center of the 4x4 post. Alright, so now what we're going to do is take a square, and that line we just scribed at 20 inches, which is the center of the board long ways, okay, from long edge to long edge. We're just going to scribe a line. Let me show you guys what I've done, what it looks like now. Alright, so we have a crosshair basically. We've got a line centered to the board running long ways, and one at 20 inches on the narrow edge. Alright, so a 4x4 post is not actually 4 inches by 4 inches, everybody. Imagine that. Why would they make it easy? It's actually about, it's not exact, but 3.5 inches by 3.5, and that's going to vary a little bit by manufacturer. So half of 3.5 inches is 1 3/4 inches. So if we measure off this center line, this crosshair we made, 1 3/4 inches, it's going to tell us where the outer edge of our 4x4 post is going to go. So I've set that at 1 3/4 inches. I'm going to do the same thing on this side, 1 3/4 inches. So our 4x4 post is going to fit right here. Alright, now that we've got our center line long ways and we've got our center marked out for where to put our 4x4 post, to figure out where the jars go, and I've made this particular one is going to hold 3 jars on one side of the post and 3 on the other, so 6 feeders total. The first measurement that I took was from the end of the board, come in 3 inches, make you a little mark, make you another mark at 9 inches from the end of the board, and your final mark 15 inches from the end of the board. This will give you 6-inch spacing between the jars so that they are not too close to one another. Alright, so once again, from the end of your board, come back 3 inches, make a little mark, come back 9 inches from the end of your board, make a mark, and then finally 15 inches from the end of your board and make a mark. Do that from both ends. These are exactly where we're going to make our cuts with our hole saw, and we'll do that next. Alright guys, as you can see, I'm going to do this with a drill press, but this is just as easily done with a cordless drill or a corded drill. You're just going to drill down through your product, your lumber, with the drill. We'll go ahead and make those cuts now and I'll show you how to do it. This is what you want to end up with, a 2 3/4 inch hole. Do that for all 6 holes. While we're at this spot in the project, let me show you guys why I really like the release mechanism on the auger on this particular hole saw. As you can see, there's a large piece, a 1 inch, well 7/8 inch piece of lumber stuck inside our drill bit. To release it, it's just a quick release. This comes right off of the auger, the cutter, and you can just pop it right out. Now all we have to do is put this back on, super simple. Slide it on, hit the quick release, slide it all the way up and down until it clicks. That's it, it's back on. So let's go ahead and make the rest of our cuts. We've got 5 more cuts to make and we'll be ready to start the next step of this project. Alright, so you've just finished cutting out your holes. What you should end up with is something that looks like this. It is a 40-inch long piece of premium grade decking with equally spaced holes, 6 of them, and a space left in the center for a 4x4 post. I'll go ahead and show you guys how to add the mason jar lids to this. Just 1 second. Alright, so all you have to left to do now is get you a mason jar. This is a 1 quart jar. A standard mason jar. Lots of companies make these. The ones they sell around here are made by Ball, but there's a link for these in the description below. And then you're going to need mason jar lids that will actually fit your 2 3/4 inch holes that you've drilled. We sell these specifically on our website at funnybugbees.com. These have 13 separate 1/32 inch holes drilled in them. They fit standard mason jars, any mason jar. They're all standardized like so. So all you have left to do is take your lids and mount them directly into your feeder. It's not permanent. These are perfectly fit. 2 3/4 inches fits these things exactly where you want them to be. So just make sure they all fit. Then fill up your jars with sugar syrup. Put the lids on. And keep in mind that you need to form a vacuum for these to work. So out in your grass, not in your house, after you fill these up to about a 1/2 inch at the top with your sugar syrup, flip them upside down. Sugar syrup's going to start draining out and it's going to stop after just a couple of seconds. That's when the vacuum forms, and then you just take this and set it into your feeder, like so. Now if you want, you can get elaborate and strap these down somehow, rubber bands and little screw-in hooks, however you want to do, just to hold it kind of tight and down, and that's something you may want to do. I don't worry about that. The 4x4 posts, since I concrete mine into the ground, they're not moving, and you don't have to concrete them into the ground. I do it in my bee yards because we have hurricanes here, and hurricanes blow everything over except for these 4x4 posts that are concreted into the ground. So if you need these lids, we sell them for about, I think, 98 cents a piece. Pre-drilled, all you got to do is screw them on top of your mason jar and you're good to go. So the only thing that you have left to do after you mount your 4x4 or you bury your 4x4 post about 2 feet into the ground is to take 4 3-inch deck screws and put one at each corner where this is going to go on top of the 4x4 post. So your 4x4 post is here. Screw down through this into the 4x4 post. Then put 6 mason jar feeders on it, one here, here, and so on, until you have them. Now, I have a commercial bee yard that has quite a few hives in it, and then I keep about 10 hives here at my home for personal use, just for my kids to play with, for me to have something to do, and those 10 hives will take down 5 gallons of syrup in just 2 or 3 days, maybe not even that. I mean, of course, we've got bees out in the neighborhood that come too, and I know they are, because that's the cool thing about these open feeders, these mason jar feeders. On a sunny, when the sun's getting ready to set, it's at an angle, it comes right through the trees, really highlights the bees that are leaving, and I see the ones that are going from my feeders to my hives, but then I also see, I can tell you exactly where the other hives are, because as they leave this feeder, they go around a little clump of trees in the back of my property and head off in a specific direction. I mean, they beeline. So you can, and with the sun hitting them, you can just tell where they're going. It's fascinating to watch. I don't open feed in mason jar feeders because it's an efficient way to feed a lot of bees. It's not. It's an efficient way to feed 2, 3, 4, 5, probably not more than that hives. So if you're going to feed more than 5 hives, unless you're going to put out a bunch of these, like I'd say you probably need to put out one of these for every 2 hives you have. But unless you're going to do that, open feeding is probably the better way to go, with drums that you've put straw or sticks or something that floats in the sugar syrup in. But we'll go over that in another video. Anyway, that's how you make this project. It's super easy. Links to everything you guys need are in the description below. Thanks for stopping by. Visit funnybugbeesandwoodworks.com. We've got these feeder jar lids for you. You can buy them in bulk from us. And I appreciate you guys stopping by. Thank you.